If you want to know how we got from this to this without using any solvents, this is the video for you. Because by the end of it, I'll be showing you exactly how we do it, as well as giving you some really useful hints and tips to avoid damaging your shirt. So stay with us. Hello there. In today's video, I'm going to be restoring the name set on this classic United 94 to 96 home shirt. But before I do, I just want to take a moment to appreciate the beauty of this 1990 Napoli home shirt. Mrs. Weefit's Kits and I recently went to Napoli, part of my Christmas present. Really recommend it. If anyone wants to go out there, it's fantastic. There's so much history there. But one of the things that struck me about it is they are obsessed with Maradona. On all of the walls, there's murals of Maradona painted, and this shirt is what he's wearing. So thank you for Scott at Kings of Leon Shirts. Now, back to this classic United shirt. Now this shirt reminds me of being like 14. This is the 1994 to 1996 home shirt, and it was a bit of a pivotal time for United. I remember in the 94-95 season, I think United lost 1-0 to Everton in the FA Cup final. They lost out to Blackburn in the Premier League chase, and I'm pretty sure it was that season Eric Cantona did that famous Kung Fu kick. So the first half of the wear of this shirt hasn't really got a very good memory or history for United fans. But where it comes into its own is the next season, the 95 to 96 season. That was the season where the class of 92 really came to the fore. I think United got rid of players like Ince and who else, maybe Mark Hughes, got rid of some of those and welcomed in Beckham, Scholes, Butt, and they created the beginning of a beautiful United team. And that season, they won the league, even though they were 10 points behind to Newcastle. That famous thing of Kevin Keegan losing his rag going, I'd love it.
I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
I'm pretty sure they won the double. Actually, they did. They won the FA Cup that season as well. And it was the beginning of a very bright era for United. So, not that I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm not going to wax lyrical too much about United. The point is, this shirt reminds me of a good time in my life as a kid. So when I see shirts that look damaged like that, I really want to get it looking top notch again. Now, one of the most common things that people message me about, and I get so many messages, and apologies if I don't reply quickly or whatever, I get so many each day. I have to store them up and then I'll spend the day going through replying to them all. So be patient, I'll get back to you. If you want a quicker way of asking a question or what have you, we have got the one-to-one video service and the ability to do on-demand stuff via our Stand store. So there's a link in the description down there and maybe one up there if you want to do that. But anyway, it's not all about promoting that. It's more about getting this shirt clean and restored without using solvents. Because like I say, one of the most common things that people say is, I don't want to pay for VLR, it's too expensive, or I can't get the DTF remover, how do I get this off? So whilst you can use things like acetone and alcohol, they don't always give the best results. So I'm going to attempt to take this name set off and get it looking top notch without using any solvents. I may struggle, who knows, I haven't tried it yet. If I can't get some bits off, I may have to use a solvent, but I reckon I'll be able to try and get this looking top notch without using any solvents. Now, before I go over and start the demo, this name set looks like it's either an old vinyl or an old and perished flock. It's got a bit of thickness to it, so I think it probably used to be a nice bright flock, but it's now just a very perished and damaged one. So hopefully it'll be easy to get off. But let's see. I'll take you over there and I'll show you. So here we are over at the other side. Now, what we're going to need today is, well, not that much, hopefully. You're going to need a board so we can lay the shirt on it. You're going to need a shirt. You're going to need a scraper. If you want one of these scrapers, then there's a link to them up there. Get one bought and they'll really help you. And then something to get the debris up. So I'm going to put the shirt over the board. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the scraper just to try and scrape away, see if it works, scrape away some of the name. Ah, look, oh, thank goodness. I was hoping this was going to work. Now, something to remember with this scrape wheel, when you're doing this, if you're using it without solvent, the edges of these are really, really sharp. So because I've used this for years now, the edges have become rounded. So they're a lot less harsh on the material. But for new ones, if you were to buy a new one today, you would find the edges would be a lot harsher and more likely to damage the material of the shirt. So if you're doing it for the first time, just go nice and gently, just gentle strokes across the material, and you'll see it's coming off nicely. So you can see it's not leaving any residue, it's all coming away nicely. But how do you know whether your name set is a good candidate for removing it in a dry way? Well, if you look at this, you can see it's very cracked. You can see it comes away quite easily with your fingers. If it's got nice neat edges like this, where it is coming away, you will find that it's probably a good candidate. If you was to put some solvent on the back of this, it would probably just go straight through the edges. I dare say it would work to remove it. I mean, if I was using a solvent for this, I would probably go for VLR rather than anything else, given the fact it's kind of feels like a cross between flock and vinyl. I would try with VLR first. If it didn't work with VLR, I'd probably try some alcohol. But like I say, if it comes away nicely with your fingers, just like this, then you'll probably be fine to just use a scraper. So I'm going to go through and remove the rest of this name, and then I'll be back for the number. If this is the sort of video that you like, please remember to click like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and also hit those hype points. It really helps us with the algorithm, and it will make sure you don't miss out on any of our future videos. So here we are, part way through it. It's actually not taking that long at all. You can see that it's coming off really nicely. A point I wanted to make is around the material. If you get some bits where you're struggling to get it off, then feel free to change the direction of the scraping, just so you can get it from all angles, and it might just make it slightly easier to come off. But then something else to bear in mind is the grain of the material. Now this shirt doesn't really have a grain. It's an even throughout. It's slightly textured, but it's an even throughout. It's not like some of the Total 90 where it's kind of either herringbone or diagonal, where you'll just need to be conscious of you going against the grain with a scraper. You could damage it. The friction could damage the material. So just be aware of that, and just kind of make sure you don't scrape too hard or go against the grain too hard, because that might damage the material. But anyway, let's carry on doing this, and I'll be back. If removing name sets is something you really want to get better at, let me tell you about the new ebook that we've released. It's available now over on my Stand store. Over 110 pages, packed with insights from more than 5 years of football shirt restoration experience. It covers everything you need to know, from identifying materials to solvent safety and advanced techniques for removing even the toughest name sets. So here we go. That's taken me about 20 minutes, and you can see no solvent has been used. Just by using the scraper, I've got off 99% of the name set that was there. Now, like I say, the key thing is to kind of do different angles with the scraper, even turn it around and do it that way. That's what I've just done, and it gets all the different angles, gets the stubborn bits. There's still a little bit there, but it's hardly anything. So that's what I've done there with this one. Now, with the number, there's quite a lot on here to remove. I'm not convinced that dry scraping is going to be good for it. You could, I mean, look, it does kind of come away, but that wasn't the point I was trying to make for this particular video. So look, you could carry on doing what you did there, and you will get the number off nicely. But the point I was actually trying to make for this video is the key for putting replacement name sets on, especially if it's going to be the same one, is the precision of it. Now, I've done a video, it's up there, on how you can get the exact size and scale for a name set, for a shirt, for a sponsor on screen, so that you can make sure that the new one you create covers bits that you can't get off, whether it's stained or whether it's stubborn or whether you've got a tear or something like that, and you want to make sure you're covering it with a replacement sponsor or name set. You're going to want the precision that comes with the technique that I shared in that video. So what I've done here is I've created a number 11 that, if we just move this over, covers precisely, don't know if you can see that, but it covers precisely the number 1. So whilst you can spend the time to get it all off, sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes you can get away with just pressing something over the top. Now you've got to make sure that you use the right pressing instructions so that it adheres to the shirt. But I've used this a few times in the past and I've never had an issue with a new name set not sticking to the shirt because of going over the top. And then what I've also got here is the Umbro that goes on with that. Again, having one layer of flock on top of another layer of flock is not necessarily a problem. You just got to make sure when you do the peel for this second layer that it's fully cooled down, because otherwise you might find that you pull the flock off, the second layer of flock off, when you do the peel. Now I've got another video up there and that shows you some of these tips around heat pressing and what have you. But that was the point I wanted to make for this shirt, was that if you get the name set precise and just right, you can negate the need to do a lengthy removal. That's what I've done there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the new name set on and show you the finished results. And here is the finished article. Look at that. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Amazing. Nice, clean press on. You can see there's no residue, no, nothing. Looking really, really good. So what do we do? What's the key points from this video? First one, you don't always have to use a solvent. If you can't find one, or you're struggling to get one, or you want to give it a go, then try and do a dry scrape. But you've got to be very particular with the shirt you use. I don't recommend using a really valuable one. Try and find one that you can practice on first. But for this one, it was because it was very cracked and it was clearly like an old vinyl, an old type of flock. And I tried it a little bit with my fingers and it came away nicely. So you can use the scraper. Don't scrape too hard. If you're using one of our scrapers, maybe kind of just be a little bit careful, because at first they're very, very sharp. Use different angles and directions of attack to get the stubborn bits off. Like I say, don't scrape too hard. And then for the numbers, it was all about the precise creation of a new name set. Like I say, look, there is you can't see any of the former number, but it is actually underneath it. And it's fine to press over the top of an old number. You just got to make sure that the new one has got to make sure it sticks to it properly and gets a good stick on the shirt. You've got to make sure that the new one that's created covers the outline of the original, and we've got that video up there that shows you how to make that kind of precise sizing. We've pressed the new Umbro onto the top of the ones, so it's kind of dual layer flock. And if you want to learn how to do that, or you want to see our video on the hints and tips around heat pressing, there's a video up there that goes through it. But I don't know about you, but that is, in my opinion, a nice, clean Bristol. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to click like, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon down below so you don't miss any of our future videos. And actually, there's one last thing I wanted to show you. I don't know if you can see, but there is a pink tinge on this silicone paper that I've been using. And this is a prime example of why, when you're heat pressing, you make sure that if you're heat pressing onto sublimated material, after one use, you chuck it. because that pink tinge, if I was to now go and press on a white shirt, would come out and would be indelible. You wouldn't be able to remove it. So there's that last little hint and tip there. Chuck away your silicone paper after you've used it on a heat press if you can see any colour on it. It's why I favour silicone paper over Teflon now, because it's cheaper. Teflon's a lot more expensive. But yeah, chuck it away and don't damage any shirts. Like I say, please remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and if you have enjoyed this video, you're going to love this one and this one. Cheers.